By the end of this video, you'll understand why Ferrari's most loyal fans are accusing their own team of betraying Lewis Hamilton, and how it could destroy the greatest F1 comeback before it even begins. Something just exploded in Italy, and no one saw it coming. The Tifosi, Ferrari's most passionate and loyal followers, are turning on the very team they've worshipped for decades. These aren't bandwagon fans, that they live and breathe Ferrari. But now, they're not just disappointed, they're livid. For the first time in years, the Italian media, usually Ferrari's biggest shield, is lashing out at the team's leadership. They're raising red flags, questioning calls from the pit wall, and standing behind someone who was once seen as an outsider, Lewis Hamilton. Why the sudden shift? Why are Ferrari's most die-hard defenders now accusing the team of sabotaging a 7-time world champion? What exactly did they witness that made them flip so drastically? Well, what you're about to hear may change how you view Hamilton's debut season with Ferrari entirely. This goes way beyond a few poor finishes. To many, this looks and feels like sabotage. And if the signs are true, Ferrari might already be dismantling Hamilton's shot at redemption before it's even gained traction.
The suit is as light as it can be, the boots are, the helmet, everything. And I redesigned the steering wheel when I got there. So it's the one thing that particularly I can have quite a hands-on opinion on and help design. So
let's rewind to Silverstone, a race that should have been a high point. Instead, it turned into a nightmare. Sure, Hamilton made some errors, went off track, struggled to pass slower cars, and ended outside the podium at a track he's owned for years. But if you've been paying attention, Silverstone was just the tip of the iceberg. Since joining Ferrari, Hamilton has consistently given feedback on handling, setups, strategy, yet the team keeps brushing it off or going the complete opposite direction. After Silverstone, even the most loyal Italian outlets started echoing what fans have murmured for months: Ferrari isn't listening. Whether it's intentional or just plain arrogance, the result is the same. They're holding him back, and it could cost him everything. What truly exposed the issue was that pit stop. Hamilton was in P4 and fighting, until one decision dropped him to P8. No crash, no engine trouble, just a catastrophic strategic call. But was it really just a blunder? Or is there something more beneath the surface? And perhaps the most telling part of it all was the silence on the radio. And once again, his engineer, Riccardo Adami, had nothing to offer. No clear direction, no explanation, not even a sign that the team knew what went wrong. Just cold, robotic responses that left Hamilton stranded and confused. Sound familiar? It should. The same thing happened in Miami, when a visibly fed-up Hamilton snapped at Adami over the radio, telling him to have a tea break. That wasn't just sarcasm. That was the breaking point after months of feeling ignored. And what's alarming is that this isn't an isolated moment. It's a pattern. A disturbing one. Ferrari keeps brushing off Hamilton's input, botching race strategies, and going silent when the stakes are highest. This isn't bad luck. It's beginning to look like a slow-motion sabotage. Whether it's neglect or incompetence, the damage is real. And now, it's not just fans and pundits talking. Even the loyal Italian press can't stay quiet. One of Italy's top sports papers, Gazzetta dello Sport, openly slammed the team. Their words were crystal clear: "You signed a champion. Start listening to him." That's not a hot take. That's a direct shot at Ferrari's entire culture. Because the hard truth is this: Ferrari isn't built to accept outside influence. It's a fortress of tradition, even when that tradition is outdated, resistant to change, and holding back progress. Hamilton didn't switch teams to be silenced. He brought his legacy, his racecraft, and a winning mindset. But instead of unlocking that, Ferrari has sidelined him, dismissed his voice, and forced him into a rigid system that's clearly broken. And now the Tifosi, the same fans who live for every Ferrari lap, are waking up. They see what's happening. A 7-time world champion is being marginalized, ignored, and wasted, and they're no longer willing to stay silent. To Ferrari's most loyal fans, this isn't just a rough patch. It feels like the team is collapsing from within. And finally, they've reached a breaking point. The stats paint a brutal picture that few are willing to confront. Since 2008, Lewis Hamilton alone has racked up 62 Grand Prix victories and 7 world titles. In that same span, Ferrari, the entire operation, has managed just 31 wins and no championships. Let that sink in. One man has outperformed the most iconic team in Formula One by himself. Yet rather than embrace the wisdom of someone who knows exactly how to win, Ferrari keeps him at arm's length. Instead of using Hamilton's insight to rebuild, they continue clinging to a system that hasn't delivered in over a decade. And that's the painful reality. Ferrari is stuck, locked in a time capsule, obsessed with outdated rituals while Hamilton is trying to drag them into a new era. But if they won't move forward with him, they're not just stalling his momentum, they're throwing away the best opportunity they've had in years to reclaim their place at the top. And it's not just Hamilton feeling the pressure. Behind the scenes, the cracks are becoming impossible to cover up. While Lewis was wrestling with strategy errors, Charles Leclerc was imploding on the team radio. At Silverstone, he finished a stunningly low P14 and sounded completely disoriented, firing off desperate questions the engineers couldn't answer. This isn't just about one unlucky race. It's both of Ferrari's elite drivers showing visible frustration, stuck with a car, and a strategy that just isn't delivering. Now, even the Tifosi are asking a question no one inside Maranello ever thought they'd hear. Have we been backing the wrong driver all along? Because here's the reality. Despite a flawed car, flawed strategy, and a frustrating weekend, Hamilton still managed to outperform Charles Leclerc. And that matters. Leclerc is supposed to be Ferrari's golden boy, the face of the future. But when the veteran newcomer swimming against the current continues to deliver stronger performances, it forces a reckoning. Where should Ferrari's loyalty actually lie? Sure, some might dismiss it as just a bad weekend, a one-off slip. Even legends have off days. But this wasn't just a rough race. The firestorm from the Italian press shows something more is brewing. This isn't about a single pit stop gone wrong or a missed chance. It's about a systemic failure. A growing divide between a legendary driver and a team that's no longer hearing him. Hamilton has been flagging this issue for months. The car's design is over the edge, difficult to manage, especially under changing track conditions. And what happened at Silverstone? It proved his point exactly. He warned them. They ignored him. And in doing so, they didn't just lose a better result. They revealed a bigger truth. This isn't a communication gap. It's a culture problem. A team too stubborn to evolve, paying the price for tuning out the one driver who saw it coming. Now, everything hinges on Hungary. The upcoming Grand Prix isn't just another date on the calendar. It's Ferrari's line in the sand. According to insiders, this weekend could decide the future of Hamilton's partnership with the team. After months of missed signals and mounting pressure, this is Ferrari's moment to show they can back their driver, take his input seriously, and finally give him the machinery to fight. Because if they don't, the fallout could reshape the entire F1 grid. Hamilton's legacy is hanging by a thread. At 40, he doesn't have the luxury of time while Ferrari plays catch-up. He didn't come to Maranello to watch his final shot at greatness fade away. He came to win. And if Ferrari isn't willing or able to deliver the tools he needs, then maybe it's time to start asking the unthinkable. Because legends don't wait. And if that 8th world title is ever going to happen, Hamilton may have to make the toughest decision of his career. Right now, the F1 world is staring down some harsh truths. Questions no one at Ferrari dares to ask out loud, but ones that are echoing across every paddock and press room. First, will Ferrari finally admit they've been wrong? Or will their unwillingness to evolve drive away the greatest driver of the modern era? The Tifosi and Italian media aren't whispering anymore. They've made their position clear. Back Hamilton or keep losing. Second, what's going to happen in Hungary? Will this be the weekend Ferrari finally listens, really listens, and lets Hamilton take control of the strategy? Or will it be yet another wasted opportunity, another weekend filled with frustration and finger-pointing? And then there's Leclerc. With every race, the contrast between him and Hamilton is growing more uncomfortable. How long before the pressure cracks him? How long before fans and media start asking if Ferrari crowned the wrong number one? And finally, this is the question that could shake the sport to its core. So, what happens if nothing changes? Does Hamilton stick around, grinding through a broken system, hoping for a miracle? Or are we already seeing the first signs of something far more unexpected? A potential exit that would end his Ferrari chapter long before anyone thought possible. One thing's for sure, Hungary could be the tipping point. The pressure is sky high, the Tifosi have spoken louder than ever, and the Italian press has drawn a bold line in the dirt. Ferrari can't lean on heritage or empty promises anymore. Either they fix this, now, or they risk losing everything they claim to represent, including Lewis Hamilton himself. And if that happens, don't blame Lewis. The failure will rest solely on Ferrari's shoulders. Because this isn't just about racing anymore. It's about pride. It's about legacy. It's about whether Ferrari rises from the ashes or burns in the weight of its own refusal to change. And right now, the world is watching. Every camera, every fan, every critic, all eyes are locked on Maranello. Now it's over to you. Drop your take in the comments. Are you backing Hamilton, or does Ferrari's leadership deserve all the fire they're catching? Should Lewis keep trying to fit into the Ferrari mold, or is it time the team finally evolves around him? Smash that like button if you think Ferrari needs a complete reset from the top down. And subscribe now if you want unfiltered, behind-the-scenes truth the F1 world doesn't want you to hear. Because after Hungary, everything could change. And trust me, you're going to want to be here when it does.